Morning, friends and family. John Miller, your Lake Stevens Realtor, coming at you here on a Monday, October 26th, 2020. Nice chilly morning. My coworker said it was actually snowing this morning when he came in. Amazing. A lot of weather. We're going to have a nice long winter, I think. Okay, today's question comes from Lake Stevens, Washington, and this is questions from sellers for their agents. And obviously the number one question that comes out, how did you arrive at your suggested list price? And that's a good question. Basically right after we give our comparative market analysis, how did you take all that data and arrive at this price? And I take a lot of pride in on my CMAs. As I tell my sellers, I'm not telling you what your house is worth. I'm going to show you what your house is worth. A good CMA is backed by data. I'm not pulling numbers out of thin air. It is a professional estimate based on data, expertise, and experience. As for this, and in my opinion, it really should be given, the price should be given in a range, although I do always have almost always have a suggested list price. There are agents out there that will what we call buying the listing, which is they just go in and tell the seller that it's worth significantly more than the market value. And if they're competing against other agents, they're obviously going to win that listing because the seller goes, hey, great, this guy says he can get me 25% more than the other guys, I'm going to go with him. And as it turns out, that's not what happens. And there's very little activity, no offers, and the agent after just a few weeks will come to the seller and say, well, we need to come down in price. And the seller's willing to list with him because he's already committed to using him for his business. And he has a listing agreement that says formally that he's committed to using him. There's a few ways around that, but it doesn't change the fact that there are some agents that's their practice, and that is very frustrating for a lot of sellers, and it frustrates the industry too. In my opinion, it's just a disservice. One of the things I ask my sellers really on day one is talking about their needs. Are the proceeds critical, or do you need the cash because you have some deferred maintenance items that are going to come up during the inspection or appraisal process, or is it time? Do you need to be on the East Coast in 30 days and you need a quick sale? All those questions are really addressed on day one, and it will affect the recommended pricing. There are a lot of factors that go into a CMA. We've talked about that in another video here, but by and large, you're paying me for my expertise and experience, and I've got 16 years of that. I've sold hundreds of homes all over the Puget Sound here. Again, that's based on true data. It's a professional estimate. One of the questions then becomes, well, gosh, I've talked to other agents and they say it's worth this. And many times it's close. Okay, we're right in there. No two estimates are going to be exactly the same. It is done objectively, but again, the estimate will show a range of values, and no two are going to be the same. Same with an appraisal when it comes right down to it. The appraisal is, in my opinion, is done more to justify a contract price to the buyer's lender, even though you've got dozens and dozens of pages that look very detailed, very organized, very objective. In my opinion, the goal isn't as objective as it would initially appear, which is frustrating because they're $800 or $900 a piece. In many respects, the CMA is far more objective. We always go into these, almost always go into these blind. We don't have a buyer and seller who've agreed, and there's no contract in front of us to work with. We're really out there looking at the market value. So I hope that answers your questions. As we've seen here keeps going down. Look at that, 2.80% on a 30-year fixed. All of our lenders are saying they're just swamped. They're ever from the processors, underwriters. Escrow has actually approached us, all the escrow companies. Hey, you got to give us the last 3 days of the month for refis. Everybody's doing refis. I'm doing a refi right now. If you need a referral for a lender, obviously reach out to me. Happy to do that for you. Wherever you are, stay safe and healthy. We will see you next week. Bye.